because 10 minutes before I went live last week, I found out that Israel had bombed Iran. And I couldn't really cover it other than to say it happened. Well, now a lot more has happened. A lot more is thinking about happening. We got a 14-day thing going on, a 14-day ultimatum going on with Trump. Who knows where it's all going to be? We got the whole Tulsi Gabbard aspect of this. So let me pause for a minute and talk about the Tulsi Gabbard part. I went to a lot of Tulsi Gabbard rallies in 2019 and early 2020. And I'd say a dozen rallies, and I'd say in 12 out of 12 rallies, she spoke out against regime change war. So that Tulsi would seem to be very much against what is being contemplated, which is the overthrow of the Ayatollah and a regime change in Iran. However, in 2021, Tulsi returned from a deployment in North Africa where her unit was dealing with the threat of al-Qaeda. And when she came back after her deployment, she made a statement which was that Islamism is the biggest threat to civilization today. So, and she was slammed by that. So many of her supporters became former supporters. Oh my God, she's Islamophobic. Oh my God, she's racist. No, she was being real, because Islamism is a very big threat. Ask anybody in Bangladesh. Ask a lot of people in Europe right now. Islamism, what I mean by that is the jihadism that calls for global intifada and really wants not just the Jews to be killed, but anybody who hasn't embraced Allah to be killed. The point being, I have nothing against people who practice Islam. I mean, a tremendous guest that I had 5 times on the Blathercast is a Muslim, a practicing Muslim with an amazing global perspective. I've played in many, many, many backgammon tournaments over the years. Sheshbesh is Persian for backgammon, if I'm not mistaken. It's a hugely Persian game. I got to know a lot of Persian people over those years. It's all. This is not about the people of Iran. No. It's not about the people of Iran. So anyway, I'm skipping all over the place. Back to Tulsi. So Tulsi says on the one hand that regime change war is out. She says on the other hand that Islamism is a threat to the civilized world. Then in March, she said that apparently she made a comment in her testimony in March 2025. I'm actually going to read you what Grock said about this, because some people say it was taken out of context. This is a little bit lengthy, but I'm going to read you the answer. I asked Grock, my new best friend, was anything Tulsi said in March taken out of context? And here's the reply I got. Because to preface that, she said in March that Iran was not working on nuclear weapons. And I wanted to know if that remark was taken out of context. Because, we had Trump saying, I don't care what Tulsi Gabbard says. Anyway, for one thing, that was said in March, and a lot could change between March and June. But anyway, back to Grock. So I said, Grock, dear Grock, was anything Tulsi said in March taken out of context? Answer by Grock. Yes. Tulsi Gabbard's March 2025 testimony before the Senate Intelligence Committee was arguably taken out of context by some media outlets and critics. In her testimony, Gabbard stated that U.S. intelligence assesses Iran as not actively building a nuclear weapon, and that Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, not Khamenei, has not authorized a nuclear weapons program suspended in 2003. However, she also highlighted concerns about Iran's unprecedented stockpile of enriched uranium and increasing public discussions in Iran about nuclear weapons, which could embolden advocates within the regime. Gabbard herself addressed this in June 2025 when responding to President Trump's dismissal of her assessment. She claimed the media misrepresented her testimony, insisting she and Trump were on the same page regarding the broader threat Iran poses, suggesting her remarks were not intended to dismiss concerns, but to reflect the intelligence community's current findings. Posts on X and some opinion pieces have echoed this, arguing that selective quoting distorted her position to portray her as overly dismissive of Iran's nuclear ambitions. So Tulsi's in a bad spot. We're all in a bad spot. There's this one guy who keeps hounding me, demanding that I give him an answer to, well, what would I say if I found out that Mossad knew all about October 7th? That's not the question. It really isn't. I'm tired of being asked that question over and over again, and I don't have an answer for that question. It was clearly an intelligence failure, but not the point. There's only one point right now, and really it comes down to one thing. Can Iran have a nuclear weapon? Would you, all 12 of you watching live, all the rest of you who'll watch this, the 40 or 50 people who watch the edited version of this later, would you feel safer if Iran was denied the privilege of having nuclear weapons?